Alright, motherfucker, listen up. This is for the fucking homies steady giving no fucks. If you wanna join the party, put your middle fingers up. And when the music fucking hits, you better jump, jump, jump.
How's everybody doing? Salute to the chat box, everybody. Salute to the chat box. 1 second, man. 1 second. I will be right back with you. I got to grab something real quick. All right, y'all. How we living tonight, chat? How we living tonight, chat? Where my good people at? Where are my beautiful people at? Yeah, we here tonight. What's up, y'all? Good to see you beautiful people tonight, man. What's up, 410? How you doing, Hank Bridges? Good to see you. Twisterella, my girl, Twisterella. What's up, Hillbilly? Where are we talking about this wild Nancy Guthrie shit, y'all? It's getting a little bit out of hand. What's up, Miss January? All these creators think they're a part of this case now, too, y'all. Yeah, all these creators have made themselves part of this case, too. I talk about this all the time on the internet, don't I? It seems like every avenue, every valley we go down on YouTube, it's just the same thing. Creators getting involved and the shit that they cover so much, it's pitiful, y'all. How you guys doing? What's up, Hummingbird? How are you doing, chat, tonight? How are you doing tonight? Let me bring some video up, y'all. Let me go ahead and bring some stuff up here. First of all, there's been ransom notes. I'm living good. I'm living good, Twist. Let's see. Device setup. No. I still ain't set my damn computer up. Ain't that crazy? It's still asking me to set everything up. I use this device here strictly for streaming. Let's see. Let's watch. Let's get an idea of what TMZ had to say about this ransom letter 2 days ago. And it's going to take us back in time. Because, I mean, we could talk about the creators and all that, right? Hello, Allie. Like all these creators getting involved with the Nancy Guthrie case. You got creators going to jail over this shit, man. Like, they don't want to lose their money, y'all. They don't want to lose their money. They don't want to give up on something that they feel so sure about. And I think that's a lot what it has to do with it. They don't want to give up on something that they feel so sure about. I think they're out there making themselves look like fucking idiots, if you ask me. But hey, I'm not the only person that might think that. But there's a lot of people on YouTube, they're like, they think they're part of it too. It's wild, y'all. It's the same thing everywhere you look.
In the Nancy Guthrie case. We received, as you know, the first ransom note along with two
Hi, Amy.
Tucson stations, television stations. And in that note, the kidnappers made it clear that they wanted $4 million within days of the time she was captured. And if the Guthrie family didn't pay that money, it would go to $6 million. And a week after the kidnapping, basically, they said they would kill her if they didn't get the money. So there was a second ransom note now that we know about that one of the Tucson stations got. in that note, which was sent 5 days after the kidnapping, it said that Nancy Guthrie was dead, and that
5 days after.
apparently said she was buried somewhere. Now we know that the second note did not.
Okay. None of the people in the public knew this. Because remember, this was the note that was sent to a Tucson station. What's up, CG? This was before the ones that Harvey got. Am I correct? So it tells you the Guthries already knew she was dead.
Contain a ransom demand. And that's why it was so confusing that following weekend, when Savannah Guthrie said to the world that they wanted to bring their mother home to celebrate and they would pay the money. And that money was never paid. And we know that because we have the Bitcoin address, and the Bitcoin address in the first ransom note was the same.
Yeah, they told us who got them, right? So all along they knew her mom was dead 5 days after. If that's what you're believing, if you believe these ransom notes, right? But who says they didn't believe them? What's up, Stacy? Like, who says they didn't believe them? Like, if your mother gets kidnapped and you get a ransom letter sent to a Tucson radio station that says, "Hey, your mother's dead. She's buried. We buried her." Then you got to believe that's true. You got to believe that's true. That's why Savannah mayor asking for the mom's body. Yes.
As the Bitcoin address in
the and second. All of us are out here still thinking that she's still alive. For days and weeks, we thought, there could have been a chance, when they knew 5 days after the disappearance that she probably was dead.
Ransom note, and no money was ever paid other than a very small amount that the FBI put in to see if they could trace the Bitcoin address, which they could not do.
Yeah, I mean, why pay that? Why pay that amount of money to just get a dead body back? I mean, I know it's your mom, but at this point, you want to catch the motherfucker who did it. You want to catch the son of a bitches who did this. More than I want the body back, I'll tell you that now. I mean, I would want my mother's body back. Don't get me wrong. Don't take it out of proportion. Don't blow it into something it ain't. But I want to catch these motherfuckers now. I would be dead set on catching them now. If they told me that my mother was dead, I would want to catch them so bad. I don't know if I would pay to get my mother home, but I would pay to get them caught.
So the question then becomes, why did the Guthrie family fail to pay the money? When you think about it, that second note saying that she died accidentally, that they didn't kill her, but she died accidentally, which is the way this is now being reported. They're essentially saying, look, we didn't do it. We weren't there to kill somebody, even though we threatened to. And she died on us. And
what did you think was going to happen? That's very, very true, CG. I didn't think about that aspect. They do have millions, so it would be a drop in the bucket, right? It wouldn't break their bank. But damn.
Look, we didn't do it. We weren't there to kill.
What did you think was going to happen, though? I mean, what did you think was going to happen? You kidnap an elderly woman that's on all kind of medications, elderly alone, dude. You're giving a risk of her dying on you, elderly alone. Like, what in your right mind would make you say, "All right, bitch, get in the car"? Hell no.
somebody, even though we threatened to, and she died on us, and we're sorry, essentially. I don't think they used the words "we're sorry," but they said, look, we didn't do it. She died shortly after the kidnapping.
I don't
And
think
it kind
that
of makes
matters.
sense with all her health problems, the fact that she didn't have her medications, and it must have been beyond extremely traumatic. So if that's true, what Savannah Guthrie is faced with is, we got this second note and we believe it's the kidnappers, but now they're not asking for a ransom demand in return for telling us where the body is.
They want to try to get out of it.
So we're putting it out to them.
They wanted to try to, probably try to weasel their way out of murder. Maybe they would get the police to come online and say, oh, we're not going to charge you murder if you just bring her home or whatever like that. Who knows?
Tell us how much you want. Tell us where the body is so we can bring her home, because the $6 million may not be on the table anymore. They may be so freaked out and scared that she died and that they're going to be charged with murder that they're just basically leaving it alone and saying, we're done with this. And so to pay $6 million when it looks like they've just freaked out and gone away, what she did instead was to say, look, tell us what you want. We want to bring her home.
Yeah.
And that means bring the body home.
Yeah.
And they never responded after that. They never responded to us, and they never responded, apparently, to anyone else. And that may be the answer as to why Savannah said, we will pay, but she needed to know, will you give us the body back if we do? And what do you want? And they never said that. So that may explain this curiosity of her saying, we'll pay, but never did. And just one other note. I have called the FBI twice again today, asking, please call, because we're trying to get some closure on this guy who was repeatedly emailing us, telling us he knew who the kidnappers were and he knew where Nancy Guthrie was buried. And still no response from the FBI. Something is going on. I don't understand it. And I'm telling you, the reason I don't understand it is we were in constant contact with them, and they were always responsive. They were calling us a lot, and we had a very open kind of relationship that went back and forth until I called about a month ago and said, look, what if we do a documentary, pay the money, and see where it leads us? And that just slammed the door shut for some reason. I don't know what.
Yeah, the feds are really, really odd about shit like that, I bet. This has gotten so bizarre, y'all. Let's talk about Ashley Banfield, because she's been a critical person in this. There's been dark clues emerging. There's been lots of different things coming up. And apparently there's a new note, and they're going to release it. CBS, I guess, got this ransom note, or whatever note it is. And, TMZ wouldn't release the notes word for word. What's up, Jody? She wouldn't release the word. They won't release the word notes word for word. But I guess CBS is going to release word for word what they had been told. Let's hear what Ashley's got to say, y'all.
Is that CBS is actually releasing what the ransom note actually said, word for word. And what's chilling is that it said Savannah.
Oh,
it was addressed to Savannah.
The poor lady is dead.
In fact, it actually opened with the words, hello, Savannah.
Ooh, that's chilling.
We have your mother, Nancy. These are details that have been kept close to the vest, and by a lot of people, I will say, not just by investigators, because the ransom notes went to 3 different places. The first ransom note that was sent went to TMZ and 2 local stations in Tucson. And so everybody within those orbs kept that to themselves, kept those details to themselves. But only in the last week have a lot of these details started to come out. And today, CBS decided that it was time to actually put out some of the wording. One other piece of information that CBS is releasing is that the ransom, I'll just say the alleged ransom seekers, this alleged ransom note, indicated that they had knowledge of where in Nancy's bedroom her Apple Watch was located.
What?
And a lot of people have put a lot of stock in that. But I'm just going to say it's worth thinking about how many people have their Apple Watch charging on their bedstand, on their bedside nightstand.
Yeah.
And so was this a really big guess on the part of whoever wrote these ransom notes, or was this actual knowledge of a ransom seeker? We don't.
Well, is that somebody looking for a ransom, or is that the person that was in there saying, "Hey, we know where we put her Apple Watch. I can tell you where we put her Apple Watch at. What's up, Amy? We can tell you wherever." Like that's kind of telling you that we were there. And if we tell you where we put the Apple Watch, then you know for sure we were there.
Oh, no. But CBS is now saying that the note actually contained detailed information where in the actual bedroom this Apple Watch was located. So what is so critical is the wording.
Well, that kind of proves that if I'm the person right in this ransom, then I'm telling you, I know you found her Apple Watch under the bed, left side, or I know you found her Apple Watch in the drawer because we put it there. But they're talking about where they put it, CG. They're talking about where they put it at. Not where it was at, where it was put at.
Of the rest of the note. And those are some of the details that have started to come in. I've got
This bastard right here is definitely part of it. He's caught red-handed.
news on that from Chris McDonough on why that is so unusual and rare for real ransom seekers. That's coming in a moment. The second note came days later. And it's this second note that was so key and is making news right now. The second note did not ask for money. We are learning a lot more details about that note now from the person who actually got eyes on that note. Brianna Whitney is a reporter, a fantastic reporter. At the time that all of this was happening, she worked for a local TV station that was part of Arizona Family. That is an overarching sort of company that owns television stations. And she got eyes on the actual note that came into one of the TV stations under the umbrella of Arizona Family.
She might have.
She no longer works for that TV station. She now works for Crime Junkie, a very popular podcast. But she has come forward to say, I have seen the actual wording of this note. And she has now divulged what the wording is. Lots of people were speculating and saying our sources say this and that, but Brianna Whitney actually knows what the words are. I'm going to tell you exactly what they are in just a moment. First, I just wanted to say thank you if you've already subscribed to this podcast.
Damn, y'all. This is taking turns, like turns. Thank you for the $2 drop. She said for nothing. I appreciate you. I don't want to blast your name all across the internet, but thank you. I appreciate you. You know who you are. Much love for the $2 drop just for nothing. She gave me $2. Guess what for you? Guess what, guys? She gave it to me for nothing.
Right now, 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 right now.
Just for nothing. Thanks for that. I appreciate it.
And if you haven't, please do, because it does us a huge solid. Also join the membership. We've got a really great membership going, and I do private events for the members. I'm going to do now. Note is super critical. Okay, because it tells us a lot about whoever these authors are, if the authors are the perpetrators or if they aren't. Let me just go right to it. And again, this is from Brianna Whitney's reporting. She had eyes on the note. She said that the note said this, quote, "We never intended to hurt her in all of this." meaning we never intended to hurt Nancy Guthrie in all of this business of getting her, asking for ransom. And now here comes note number 2. They admit, quote, she perished shortly after she was taken. I got questions about using the word perished.
Yeah, that people don't use the word perished. People just don't use that word, y'all. Unless it's somebody that's using that word a lot, right? Like, who would use that word? A pastor? I don't know. A pastor? Who would use that word? Perish. She perished. Yeah, big words for a killer. That's that. Yeah. Maybe past. A professor would use it. Okay. Perish is not a word most people are going to use for she died. That's a good grab, Ashley.
Is that somebody who doesn't speak English as a first language, and this is the way they've translated it? That's my feeling. Because not many people say she perished. You'd say she died.
Yep.
She passed away, you know?
Good point. Somebody that doesn't speak our language at all. That's a damn good point. Somebody that's just looking it up. You know? That's what it sounds like. It could be somebody that's just translating.
But this is the wording. She perished shortly after she was taken, according to Brianna. The note goes on to say she was buried with nature. Again, a very odd choice of words.
With nature. That's so weird.
Words for someone who is an English speaker. So I'm thinking maybe not. That sounds like someone who's been translating into English. Nothing you could have done could have changed the outcome, and we are truly sorry. That's important.
Big time. It's a we for sure. There was more than one that was involved in this. Definitely more than one. More than one person. It takes more than one person to kidnap somebody. It does. Anybody that's going to put up a fight won't be kidnapped by just one person. I mean, there's ways of doing it, I'm sure, just by with a pistol. You could get somebody to get in a car by gunpoint, of course, but like to be breaking in someone's home and doing all that, most people aren't going to do that alone. They're not. It's so weird, guys. What's up, Angela?
And truly sorry, are you now? What kind of person are you? You wretched beast. Have you suddenly had a flood of conscience? It's not enough just to go into someone's home and steal a grandmother out of her bed in the black of night? Really? You're truly sorry? Something went wrong? There's also a reference to the fact that they underestimated the condition, the fragile condition of Mrs. Guthrie. So these are critical aspects to this.
So they didn't even, so this was just a humbug of a robbery? Yeah, they didn't get anything, guys. They got nothing. And now she's gone.
Story that are now coming out from people who are actually firsthand reporters, Brianna Whitney in particular. I also wanted to let you know that something that Harvey Levin has reported that I find really significant. Harvey Levin's TMZ was one of the recipients of note number 1. And that was the note, again, that came in, I say 2 days because all of Sunday and most of Monday, right? Before this note came in around 6 o'clock in the evening. And Harvey received it. So he's a firsthand reporter. And he said that this note said, again, 4 million by this date, or the price goes up to 6 million. And this additional detail is added, or we kill her. Wow.
They killed her.
So that was something that I hadn't really heard in concrete reporting before, that there was this initial threat to kill her right away. When I talk to Chris, we're going to discuss about the rarity of real ransom seekers who go that far that fast. Like they're just 0 to 60, right? It's not normal. We'll go into what is normal, why that's unusual in just a moment. Then there's reporting as well. Harvey received and TMZ received a whole batch of other communications after the fact, not from the original sender, from someone else who said they know who did this and they're prepared to sell that information. And that person kind of nattered away at Harvey, you know, suggesting, give me money and I'll give you info. And Harvey said that person said not only did they know who did it, but they know where Nancy's buried. Very interesting, because now we know that the second ransom note that Harvey didn't receive said she's buried with nature. And don't forget that the women's group that searches for missing people in Mexico, who just last week got that tip in Nogales, just south of Nogales, in the Sonora province, that Nancy is buried in a specific area. And they said in a grave over a stream. So buried with nature from some of this reporting, and this group down in Mexico gets this tip that she's buried in a grave over a stream. They didn't find her. They did. This is a group that's found 25 unmarked graves, which is tragic in its own right, but they didn't find Nancy. Not yet anyway. Very legitimate search as well. Very legitimate development in the story, because the Mexican authorities gave them backup and helped them with security as they went out and did this search. All right, so interesting that Harvey's reporting has this notion that they, you know, this person who's selling the info on the perpetrators knows where Nancy's buried. But also, Harvey has revealed that the FBI contacts that, you know, have been working with TMZ, because TMZ, again, is a part of the story. They received the original overtures. They received the original purported ransom letter. Yeah. So TMZ has been working with the FBI. And Harvey said that the FBI has indicated that this second round of letters, the person who says they know who it is and where she's buried and they'll sell the info, that the FBI is suggesting they think that may be a woman based on the linguistics, based on the writings. And that's a fascinating development. Wow. Special place in hell for any woman that would do that kind of twisting of the knife, right? But okay, so this is what the FBI has told Harvey, that it's possible that one of the perpetrators involved in all of this one says that he or she didn't do it, but knows who did and where Nancy is and wants money for the info. So that could be a woman. It's fascinating stuff. And one more thing. Maureen O'Connell, who's a former FBI special agent, she mentioned that she's got a source, and the source had indicated that authorities are really close to arresting the guy who appeared on Nancy Guthrie's doorbell cam, that horrifying figure that came in the dark of night and is the person that is believed to have stolen Nancy Guthrie from her bed. I'm having a tough time with that one, because that is a really giant leap towards solving this case. But I was really curious about that. That's a big, big jump to say that you might be close. And so I wanted to talk to other people in the business of solving homicides to talk about the possibilities, especially with where we are and the reporting that's come in just in the last, few days. And I thought Chris McDonough would be a perfect person to speak with. Not only is Chris McDonough the director of the Cold Case Foundation, but he's also a retired homicide detective.
How are they going to arrest this guy if they don't have any info? No new info, unless they've gotten it and we don't know about it. Hell, we've been lied to from the jump, I feel like then. Not really lied to, but like made to believe something. Like, I do believe that they made the public believe that there was still a chance that she was alive when they knew that there was probably not a chance at all. Especially when they got a note saying that she was already gone. Yeah, these people are fucked. I'm glad I was raised better, Just think yourselves, y'all. Just think to yourselves. Ain't y'all glad y'all was raised better? A little bit more sense of fucking you know, being a good person. There's no way I could murder anybody. I don't think there's anything somebody could do besides outside of hurting my children. I don't think there's anything anybody could do outside of trying to hurt me or my children, you know, of course, but I don't think there's anything I could do to take somebody's life. They're never going to give their deck of cards out in a case. Yeah, they definitely made the public believe some things that obviously weren't true. And we've seen that. We've seen that in a lot of these cases lately. And it's smart because with the way the internet has become, it's smart to do that. Here, JLR and all these people think that Savannah betrayed them and shit. It's weird, bro. These people are weirdos. Like, that's just fucking weird, man. I need a damn lighter, y'all. Yeah, that's why Nanos did call it off. And you got all these YouTubers that you know, think that Savannah somehow betrayed them and all that shit. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up. Savannah don't owe nothing to you. Savannah don't owe no fucking kind of nothing to you motherfuckers. You sick bitches. You motherfuckers are weird, man. What's up, Rinsky? Appreciate you, baby doll. Much love. Good seeing you. Can't go around you too much any longer. Shit got weird out there, didn't it? Shit got weird out there, didn't it, Ren?
Right now, 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 right now.
What's up, Hope? I don't know why anybody would think that fucking, yeah, I know, right? Would think that Savannah owed them any kind of like loyalty. Like, that's just odd to me. Sure, you're out there working the case and trying to find out where her mom is. She knows that. But like, she also knows that there's like some sensitive shit, bro. Sensitive as fuck. That's one thing I found weird about it. They made a bunch of money from this case, but never even spoke to any of the family. I'd be happy just to make that type of money. Yeah. JLR's made a ton off of it. And now they're mad at Savannah.
He's co-host of the Interview Room.
That's
if you see
weird,
his
man.
podcast. And Chris has a pretty impressive CV, right? He's got 25 years in law enforcement, 13 of them in a homicide unit. And do you want to know what his solvability rate is in the cases that he actually tackled? 90%. 90%. That's an A. Yeah. 90% solvability. So he looks at these facts as they come in, very cold and hard, factually puts them on a grid, looks at them, applies the magic that he knows from his business. And so with all that in mind, I wanted to go over these new developments with him to get his thoughts. Here's my conversation with Chris McDonough. Chris, it's great to have you. Thank you so much for being on with me. I want to sort of address the big elephant in the room. There's a report, there's a headline that's getting a lot of traction saying that the FBI might be close to actually catching the man seen on Nancy Guthrie's Ring camera.
Look, I don't know how true that is, but let's hope, let's hope they catch somebody. Let's catch somebody.
I've talked to sources who say that's not accurate. And that sounds like a hell of a thing, to not have some sort of vetting. What are your thoughts about that?
Hold on. So she's calling out Maureen then. Am I right? Y'all know who Maureen O'Connell is, right? The one that has the blonde hair. She goes on all these different true crime podcasts. Y'all know who I'm talking about, right? So she's calling her out, saying that she's saying this without any basis. Good for you, Ashley. Good for you, Ashley. Because that's what she's saying.
Sources who say that's not accurate. And that sounds like a hell of a thing, to not have some sort of vetting. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, why would you say that without any vetting? Why? Why? I know why. Fame.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
Fame.
I was just down there in Tucson and I talked to law enforcement sources also. And that was not the indication I walked away with as well. They're diligently working, in that direction, but I don't think they have a solid lead as to who that individual is yet.
And that's kind of shocking. I mean, we're recording this on June 24th, and I think she's now been missing for 144 days.
God damn, dude. She's fucking maggot. She's maggot meat. Yeah, she's probably dust by now, right? How long does it take? How long does it take, y'all? I'll ask. I know that's kind of crazy to ask, but I'll ask. How long does it take for a body to turn to dust after you bury it? Oh, wow. To completely skeletonize, it's 10 to 50 years. Damn, that's longer than I thought. And it's even longer for them to turn into dust. It's 80 to 100 years for the bones themselves to crumble into dust. So and that's saying this, it can drastically change after embalming, being put in some type of casket, being in a uncoffined is that. So like if you're coffined and you're put into a tomb, then it seems like it would take a little bit more longer.
And to not have some kind of thread that they're following, or just some sort of advancement in the case, it just feels really hopeless.
Yeah, I mean, Ashley, you've been doing this for so many years. You get the fact that, these folks in this type of investigation, it's such a high profile circumstance. You want to make sure that you're crossing the T's and dotting all the I's. And, in this particular situation, they have to get out onto the street and they need to start,
Look at little pudgy Brandy right here in this little picture. Little pudgy baby Brandy with her little fat self.
kicking the beehives, right? Because the street's going to start giving them information about that guy on the porch. And
Yep.
My concern is the fact that these were new homicide investigators that were basically handed, this.
So is this something that was just a break-in? How long for it to turn to dust if you cremate it? Oh, pretty quickly, man. That's like within the first few days, I'm sure, when you're in there burning. I got my mom back within like 2 weeks. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, so what do you guys think this is? So do you actually think this was let me run a poll for this, man. Let's do a poll, y'all. I know I didn't leave any area for in between, but like, what do you guys think this is? Do you think these people just broke into this house and was a robbery gone wrong, or do you think that they were like really sent to kidnap her? You don't think she's passed away? Well, they got Jackal. I don't think you've been listening. From what we know now, all of the ransom notes that were sent that we have all talked about, they told the people that she was dead then. But TMZ didn't release that. Savannah Guthrie didn't release that. So she's been dead this whole time, and we've been thinking she could have a chance to be alive. No, she's been dead. They sent the ransom on the second ransom note. It says, well, I'll break it down for you, Jekyll. On the second ransom note, it stated in that note that she had passed away, and they didn't mean for her to pass away. So ever since that second ransom note, Savannah's known, TMZ's known, the whole family's probably known she's dead. They just didn't tell the public like that. And I think this, is that wrong or oh, I feel you, Jekyll. I was just letting you know. You're good people, man.
Massive investigation. And at first, there was a lot of mistakes that were made. We saw.
Yeah, they literally had the whole world thinking that this woman could still be alive weeks later, when they themselves knew that in the ransom note. I always knew that she was probably dead after the first week. I was like, yeah, she's probably gone. She didn't have her meds. She had a pacemaker, let alone what stress does to an old person. I can only imagine the amount of stress that being kidnapped would put on you. Could you even dream of that, dude? Like, that's a nightmare. That's something you want to wake up from. Imagine being her and you never wake up from it. And you're just around all these people that you don't know, or you're around these small group of people you don't know, and they're taking you places, and like, it would be so fucking scary. I think it's an accident cover up. What do you mean, through like the family? Like, imagine being kidnapped, man, and like just being held against your will in a place that you don't know, with people you don't know. You've seen it in the movies, right? Where they'll put somebody in a room and like fucking feed them through like a food slot, and you don't have no clue where you're from. That would just be one of the most frightening things in the world. And I'm a grown man, I'm a grown man. I think it was a family or a friend. I always thought that Tommaso guy was kind of weird, but I don't know. If I would have known that she was dead long ago, I could have come at this a little bit different. I could have thought about this a little bit different. But they never told us she was dead in those ransom notes, and they probably did that on purpose, obviously. But buried in somewhere in Mexico, you're probably right on with that. You're probably right on with that, man. 79% of you guys think she was, 75% of you guys think she was kidnapped for ransom. Wow. That blows my mind, man. Really? You guys think that they knew who they were getting? I didn't know that they said she was dead, CG. Nobody did. Like, they literally said she was dead in those ransom notes. They didn't release it that they knew she was dead. Even the police dude, what's his name? That fucking shady ass dude, Sheriff Nanos. His ass was saying, "Oh, we still have hope. She's still alive. We still have hope. She's still alive." And they got the fucking letter saying she was gone. Well, because TMZ apparently got one of the first letters. So that was how they got the ransom out. They sent it to TMZ and they sent it to 2 other stations. What happens is, I'll tell you what has happened, is our media has totally fumbled the reporting of this. They have. They have not reported it the correct way. They try to keep things out. They try to put things in. And yeah, he stopped the search. I mean, it's just little things like that you don't catch on. You know, I didn't catch on it. Because TMZ's like the most nationalist news. I don't know. Maybe they wanted the world. I don't know. These people fucked up, though. Because now they got a murder on their hands. He said drop her off at a clinic all the while he knew. Yeah. See, that's the thing. They're going to always sit back and say, well, we thought she could have still been alive. Motherfucker, the dude that's been sending you all these letters, they fucking told you she was going to die, bro. They should have sent that money from the get-go. As soon as they asked for it, they would have got her back. They bullshitted. They piddle-paddled. And probably what happened was, if they didn't do it like they say they didn't do it, she probably died on them. How old was she? Like 80-something? What's up, Twisted? She probably just died on them, man. Like, could you imagine being kidnapped at 80-something years old, dude? Trump said whoever get this will get the death penalty. Why? Can we start giving some coverage to other people now? 84. That's how old she was. 84 years old. I think we should start getting some coverage to some other people that's gone through this. There's children out there that are being taken, bro. There's fucking other old people that are being taken. There's other children. I think we need to boost the coverage for things like this. Yeah, stressed, man. Like being around people she don't know, and they done took her from her house. Oh, I bet her heart wouldn't stop beating a 1,000 miles. I bet them over boom, 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 boom. And plus, they hurt her. Obviously, they hurt her some way. She was bleeding when she come out the door.
All them. I mean, it was visible. Shutting the scene down, that kind of stuff. The disagreements behind the scenes, politically, et cetera, with the FBI. But now that that's all been, smoothed out, and everybody's, working together in this, miniature task force, you've got the FBI focusing on the forensics evidence, the notes, the Bitcoin, all of the stuff that they do really well. But then you have the Pima County Sheriff's Department, who is probably focused on the homicide end of this thing. And what concerns me was the fact that, I just got back from there. And one of the things that you want to do pretty quickly is try to find what we call, a contact site. And what do I mean by that? There are 3 women potentially who could have been victimized by this potential perpetrator: Nancy, Savannah, and Annie. All 3 women within that family. So what you want to do is reverse engineer that principle into, number one, who would try to do something like that? The second is, how would they try to do it? And of course, the most important one is, why would they want to do that? Okay. Well, we know Savannah's out of the circle because she's in New York pretty quickly. Okay. So that leaves Annie and it leaves Nancy. Okay. So now you want to try to dissect that into terms of, okay, well, why was Nancy selected and not Annie?
Easier.
So what you try to do is you look for what we call a contact point, meaning what type of environments would the suspect, hang out in, and do any of the victims potentially, could they have crossed into those environments inadvertently even, and come across the suspect? Well, what we discovered just this last week or so, I spent the last 7 days out there, was that Annie's workshop for her jewelry business is in an area that is an extremely high profile crime area. Okay? And that told me, well, wait a minute, let's look a little bit harder about why this is a possibility. And within that area is a foundation that she supports and has been helping. Well, this is also a foundation that supports those who are getting out of prison, for an example, career felons. Okay, and they're trying to help them go back into society. Okay, through job applications, through all the stuff that these organizations help with. Okay, so I asked the question: is okay? Well, is it possible that Annie inadvertently could have come across the suspect? Maybe the individual, over time was overhearing conversations. Is it possible that Nancy had gone down there, to support her daughter? Is it possible Savannah had gone down there, to support mom, et cetera, when she's on her days off? Okay? And is it possible that there was conversations that somebody had said, hey, wait a minute, that's a very famous woman. Okay.
No, he was a rock dude, China. I guess he was one of those, I don't know, one of those rock guys. I don't think, I mean, some of those people do jewelry too, but he was like one of those rock guys, like the big ones. Like he had those, like, I don't know, that kind of look like crystals and shit. You know what I'm talking about? And they might make jewelry out of that shit. They do, I believe. A gem collector. Ain't the fucking neighbors getting involved in all this YouTube shit too, man? Like, this shit's weird, man.
And if in fact she's famous, that means she probably has some money. Could that have been the nexus that kicked this whole thing off? I don't know yet. I wanted to explore that avenue.
That is fascinating, because you just think about how inadvertent conversations can be. Let's just say Annie is in a room where there's processing, or there's some contact with some of these individuals who've just gotten out of prison. Not to suggest that everyone who gets out of prison is ready to commit a crime again, but hey, let's just be frank. There is
is anybody getting out of prison ready to commit a fucking kidnapping for a ransom? This isn't like something that most people think they're going to get away with, chat. I'm just saying. Like, this isn't what the normal person thinks they're going to get away with every day. Like, who wakes up in the morning and goes, I'm going to go kidnap somebody and I'm going to get away with it, and they're going to pay me millions of dollars? Who does that? Who the fuck does that? It takes a special kind of psycho to say, let's go kidnap this bitch and then ask them for millions, and we're going to get away with it. Yeah, right. Right. God's going to say, no, you're not. And I'm going to have to sacrifice her to make you guys suffer, because I can't let you get away with this. And Nancy, you're coming to heaven with me, and you guys aren't getting away with this. That's God's intervention. That's God's divine intervention, man. Nancy, I'm sorry, honey, you got to come to heaven with me, but these gentlemen are not getting away with this shit. For real. Who thinks that you're going to get away with this shit? I'm going to wake up tomorrow and go kidnap somebody. Oh, there's lots of information that they're not releasing. 100%. Now that I've heard this about all the ransom letters and all that, they have so much evidence that they have not told us about. I guarantee it. And I don't know who these YouTubers are that are covering this case out there in Arizona, but y'all need to back the fuck down, because they don't owe you shit. They don't owe you a fucking thing. They don't owe you an explanation. They don't need to show you anything. Like, y'all are weird. Get off y'all high horses, man.
Recidivism reality. And she happens to mention, I just have to go pick up my mom. And somebody else had mentioned that, like, oh yeah, that's Savannah Guthrie's sister. And all of that together foments very quickly in someone's mind about the potential for a target. It's remarkable. How do you suppose then that investigators would run that down? Would they take a list of all the people that may have been in and out of that environment with Annie for the last, say, year and then track them? Or what would they do?
YouTubers.
Well, that's where you would want to sit down with Annie, and you want to have an extensive interview about the individuals that come and go. You'd want to talk to the employees of the organization that she, is there, where her shop is, her workshop is. You'd want to talk to, the folks on the street around there.
I say this too. I say all the way down to the sheriff. It could be a little sketchy, even if he ain't trying his hardest. That makes it sketchy to me. Like, everybody should be trying their hardest to find this woman, and I feel like the proper authorities aren't doing that. I think it's just been like I don't know. This case has been botched for a reason. That's why no reward has been claimed. It's a small circle. I'm listening.
That's what I started to do. I went up, it's a really high fentanyl area. It's basically the type of place where you would find that guy on the porch, for lack of a better term. That guy on the porch is just too smooth. This was not his first rodeo. And we know he was violent because we have Nancy's blood on the porch. So that tells us also that the video tells us that he came there with a weapon. So,
I'm gonna be honest, sassy but sweet. I get what you're saying, and I'm listening. But like, for that just to be said comes off kind of conspiracy theory-y. So I'm listening. I'd like to hear your theory on this. The small circle thing. I'd like to know about that. What's up, you did? Good day. Our 3-bay in our studio. She's been approved. My life is gold. Shout out to that shit. Much love.
Right now, 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 right now.
What's up, Smurf?
He was prepared to use more than just physical violence. He was prepared to potentially use that gun. So this is not something that your everyday burglar, your everyday, crook just kind of picks up and says, hey, I'm going to break into this.
So he don't think that that's one of them. What's the goal? What's the poll at? 72% thinks it's kidnapped for ransom. So only 28% of y'all think that this was a robbery gone wrong. And this guy's saying it ain't either. Like, this dude came with a gun. That's true. He came with a gun, man. Robbers don't come with guns.
This random house of an 84-year-old woman in the middle of this neighborhood that, quite frankly, the roads look like a bowl of spaghetti had been flipped over, and you got to know exactly where you're going.
Yeah, I've seen getting arrested outside the house. Like, what the fuck is so up with this that you need to get arrested for? Like, come on, Alex, you look like an idiot out there. I'm just going to be honest. You did. Do I believe that the cops were trying to rough up on you a little bit? Yeah, but you're a big fella. They're not getting ready to play with you. I just thought that was kind of stupid because when they hauled him off, I was left wondering why. Why? Why can't you just comply with what they need you to do and mosey on about your day? I don't understand it. Why anybody would want to go to jail out there in front of Nancy Guthrie's fucking house. Yeah, that cop fell down and Alex said, I didn't do that. I didn't do that. He didn't either. Alex didn't shove him down. I'll agree to that shit too. It was on camera. That dude fell down. 100%.
To commit a
Alex said, I didn't do that.
Okay. And now all of a sudden
No, check this out, man. One of the neighbors are now involved in it, Twisted. From what I'm hearing, One of the neighbors are now involved in the YouTube shenanigans too. They tried to make him swing at him. I kind of got that. I kind of got them cops for being assholes. I did. It did. He got a felony out of that? Yeah, that ain't worth it. None of that shit's worth it, dude. That guy ain't going to be YouTubing in 10 years, 15 years. Think about it. I don't plan to go until I'm 60. You know what I mean? I'm 48 now. I probably got another, at the max, 10 in me. And that's fucking, that's wishing, right? That's wishing. That's like saying whatever. I don't even plan to be on here that long, but nah, there's no way that's worth it, man. There's nothing involving this case that these YouTubers need to be so involved with it. If you don't believe me, guys, every true crime YouTuber on YouTube always gets too involved with the case that they're reporting on. They always try to become part of the thing that they're reporting on. Why can't you stupid son of a bitches just learn how to report? Let the people decide. That's what it's about. It ain't about going and getting yourself involved with it. Becoming part of the content is a lolcow thing, man. I hate to tell you. Yeah, that's a lolcow trait. I just hate to tell you that. When you start to like wanting to be part of what you're covering, it's a lolcow trait. It very much is. And I think it makes you look weak. I think it makes you look weak. JLR's down there fucking getting banded. He's the one that got all these people together, and some of them ended up even getting arrested and shit. He swears that Savannah has snaked them and all kinds of shit, bro. Like Savannah don't owe these motherfuckers a damn thing, dude. I don't know who these people think they are. I'm so sick of these kind of YouTubers, man. That motherfuckers don't owe him. Savannah don't owe these people a fucking thing, man. That's her mama that's going through this. And that's sick of y'all to think that she does. We had 26 votes. Shout out to y'all, man. That's sick. Like Savannah snaked us. Savannah snaked us. It seems like JLR started going through his thing with Magnolia, and I gave him grace on that, right? Because there was just never any proof of it. I gave him grace on it. But then he goes back down to the Nancy Guthrie situation and just starts wreaking fucking havoc, dog. You know? So I don't get it, JLR. He did, man. And he does that every so often. I wonder if he's fucking mentally disabled or something, because he does this every so often. He starts to get real fucking weird. And then he snaps out of it and starts covering something else real heavy. And he's there just to get the proof, just get the proof, just get the proof, just get the proof. And then he starts becoming part of it again. And it starts becoming this like weird, real weird, like mind fucking thing. It's fucking weird. And I'm not hating on him. I'm not hating on him, man, because he's good at what he does when he gets out there. Yeah, he just gets too far into it. It's too much.
He has a health issue, and she dies. Now they have a murder, i.e. they're sitting with a deceased person, and I don't mean to be disrespectful.
See, but here's the funny thing and the weird thing about all this. These people are long gone, right? In our eyes. Right? Why do they keep sending letters? These people could bury fucking Nancy and just ride off into the fucking sunset. Why are they keeping in touch? Think about that. This is some psychological shit right here, bro.
To Nancy or Savannah, but you know,
could it be somebody that's part of this case covering it, wants it to keep going, so they're sending in shit? I've seen this happen. True crime YouTubers are great for it, creating some false ass story. I've seen it.
I'm thinking from an investigator's hat, right? The now,
Yeah, I don't know what small circle is, but like that tripped me out. What makes me reluctant to think Annie did anything is I got to believe that the investigators have done their job, like investigating Annie and Tommaso, you know, as far as they're capable. You know, I don't know. I think what we've been told, especially now that I hear what the ransom note has been said this whole time. The ransom note said that she was dead on the second ransom note. They didn't tell any of us that, y'all. They had us believing that she could have been alive 2 weeks after. And they already had got a note saying she's dead. By small circle is who I think is involved. Tell us. Tell us. Tell us. Don't keep it a secret. These are horrible people.
all of a sudden they realize, holy cow, what are we going to do from here? Okay? And so they panic. And maybe one of the individuals, who may have had the lesser role, they want to mitigate their risk as quickly as possible. Look, we didn't know, et cetera, et cetera. We're sorry, I didn't, blah, blah, blah. And boom, that note goes off. Because if there's no ransom demand in it, okay, then that's kind of what they're trying to do, is cover their own bases. Because if this thing ever comes down, i.e. things start falling into place and, they start doing this, okay, well, you want to be the first one, with your attorney to the deal to say, look, this is all I did was sit at the house and wait for him to show up. Okay. And that happens all the time. And so that person there maybe even laying the foundation for their own attorney one day to say, well, what did you do? Well, you can tell the court, I wrote the letter, but look what I said in the letter. Okay? I'm the good person. That's the bad guy right there. He took her out of the house. Okay. And
I think it's known as little cronies. He set it up to help Tomato out because he needed money. Okay. I got you. I'm hearing you.
And trust me, there's no loyalty among thieves, right? We all know that at that moment. But now you have a homicide potentially. So you have to now think about, okay, what do we do? What are we going to do with Miss Guthrie? We weren't anticipating for her to die. We were hoping they were going to do, pay all the money. And these suspects never, ever think that far ahead. They only think about the abduction and then the secondary piece of this. But now they have, a body, and that body is just weight. So what do you do with it? Now you've got a secondary plan. You got to put her back in a car, maybe. Okay. Do you use the same car? Do you get another car? Okay. That means it's another crime scene.
Yep.
Where are we going to take her? Do we take her to the desert? Do we take her over the border? What do we do? Okay. And
wherever you take her to, that becomes another crime scene. So wherever they took her from is a crime scene. Wherever they take her to is a crime scene. Then wherever they take her again in that car is a crime scene. And then wherever they stop is a crime scene.
So now this panic starts setting in. Okay? Do we bury her? Do we put her in the desert for the animals? What do we do? And so they don't think that far ahead. And it won't surprise.
Wouldn't that be mean as fuck to just kidnap somebody and end up letting them die on you and then just throw their body out to the fucking wolves? Like, what kind of a human being are you? What kind of a real human being are you? To just like go and take somebody, she dies on you, you can't get no money for her now, and you just throw her to the wolves and the fucking scorpions and the fucking who knows what. Well, they announced the death on the second note, though. It was pretty early on.
Surprise me if they find Nancy, unfortunately deceased, because
Going to the pigs. You're
there's
right,
a
man.
huge indication that she could be and
I'm
is.
just talking about the first,
That they find her just
take.
thrown into the desert somewhere, and the animals have taken care of things. So it's a really dangerous terrain out there.
What do you make of the wording, though, in the second note? And again, I refer to the first and the second note together because they came
Why
from.
do I want to go steal somebody? So I got to feed them? Hell no, I'm trying to give you fucking back. Take this bitch back, man. She costing me money. You guys ain't giving me the money, and she's costing me money. Take her back. And she keeps nagging. Sorry, y'all. I'm not making fun of this situation. I'm just saying, man, I'm not that person, y'all. I got way bigger of a heart. I'm a changed man. I don't think like a killer anymore, as if I ever did, but like, I got a heart now, man. I couldn't do this to somebody's grandmother. I couldn't do this to somebody's sister, somebody's wife, somebody's fucking mother, brother. Nobody. If somebody told me you go kidnap this woman tomorrow and we're gonna hold her up for ransom and they got $6 million to give us, there's no fucking way I'm doing it. No way. Even if there is no way of getting caught, my conscience would not let me sit with that too well. It wouldn't. I would just be like, what a loser. I would think of myself as just a fucking loser. I know I'd be a rich loser, but they're not going to get the money without her body. Yeah, apparently in the ransom letters that were given, apparently in the second ransom letter that the TMZ got, they stated that she was already dead. So all of us are out here thinking that this woman's still alive when they talk about these ransom letters because they don't tell us that, Now you're here, you're good. So yeah, they're withholding evidence, they're withholding information. They're not telling the public shit, y'all, because they kind of lied to us with that. They let the public believe that she could have still been alive when that ransom note said she was gone, and they were sorry. I mean, they could have. It wasn't law enforcement that got it, Sassy. It was a ransom note sent to TMZ and to 2 other news stations. They're allowed to release it. Absolutely. CBS is releasing the one they got tonight. They're releasing it word for word, everything it said, because they're allowed to. This is public knowledge. I know that to a certain extent, but should the public know if she's still alive or not? I think I deserve to know because I want her to be found alive. But if they send something to the FBI and say, hey, man, she's dead, then why aren't they telling us, hey, man, she's dead? Sheriff Nano's going on TV saying, yeah, we still have hope. You ain't got hope. That's why they called off the fucking search. That's why they didn't search. They knew the whole time she was gone. I guess I'm just stupid and didn't realize it. I don't know. Maybe I had a little hope. Because I know I loved my grandmama. So I had a little hope, man. Sheriff Nano arresting YouTubers. Some of them YouTubers out there acting stupid, though.
On the same address. Buried with nature. She's buried with nature. Do you think that's, again, an effort to be kind when the cruelty may have been as simple as let's just get rid of her in the desert?
Yes, and that's more of a feminine approach versus a male approach. It's more of a softer approach because that guy on the front porch was willing to hit her.
Yeah, I say pay the money to get their mama back. You know? Thank you. That's what I'm saying, Sightseeing Rawlings. That's all I'm saying. They gave us the hope that was false. You know, they had me following along for at least the first 2 weeks. I don't know. After about 7 days, I kind of lost hope, you know. But like at least for the first 2 weeks, I still kind of had hope. But after 14 days, I was like, yeah, she's probably gone. Sounds like her daughter's poetry. I don't think her daughter did this. I don't think they're badass enough. I don't. I don't think either one of those daughters are badass enough to pull off something like that. Now, could they have had it done? Now you could talk. But them doing it personally, nah, I don't think so. They're under too many watchful eyes, I'm sure. I'm sure they're under watchful eyes. But how far is this even being investigated anymore?
This guy isn't saying, hey, you know, she's buried in nature, okay, right now, or she perished, okay. What career criminal uses the word she perished?
None.
Okay. What? You know, that ain't happening.
Well, Chris, I'm thinking maybe they used a translation app. I mean,
well, my mama would have fought back. My mama would have fought back. They wouldn't even probably got her out of the house. They'd had to kill her right there in her home. No shit. She'd have went fighting and screaming for sure.
honestly, why not?
But nobody could hear you out there.
Yeah,
Out there in the
they could have,
Nancy
but you know, yeah, they could have used AI to write it as well, and that in of itself tells you there's not, you know, the elevator's not going to the top floor, and so it's not a very.
Well, I mean, anybody that thinks that they can just kidnap people and get millions of dollars for them, I don't think they're working with a full deck anyway, right? Let's make that real clear, dude. Hey, dude, it's not embarrassing, Rawlings. I advocate for people to pay for their subscriptions to cameras, get cameras put up, and pay for your subscriptions. You know, I advocate for it. It's like $13 max a month for all kinds of cameras. I think I had 8 cameras hooked up for $13 a month. So like at least a doorbell camera and you know, put a camera on all entries of your home. You know, put one above around each door, put one on each corner of your home. That way all sides of your home are seen. You know, so they're not going to keep anybody from doing anything to you, but it gives the authorities a lot better chance of finding you or seeing what happened or knowing what's happened or knowing what went down. Unfortunately, with the Guthrie thing, it wasn't like that. But like definitely I have since this case, I have started advocating for it. My chat knows that, haven't we? We've said it. Please get you some cameras, chat. Especially all of the ladies out here, dude. Get you a Ring camera. Put it on your doorbell. Get you a fucking backdoor camera. Get you a couple cameras on each corner of your house that look down each side of it, you know? What's wrong with that? Get you a fucking garage door camera. You know? It's not it's not too expensive, guys. It's not. And you could have it installed for you. Oh yeah, man. Cameras are where it's at. Yep. Yep, you can even get them set up to where you run your own system, and you could have them paying for it. You know, like, that's the best way to do it. Run your own and have a service. A door camera is a good way to go, bro. A flipper device, not all of them work, man. Not all of them work. They'll fuck with your garage door openers and shit. They will do that. Hell yeah, Hellcat. That's what I'm talking about. It's better to be safe, you know? It's not going to stop anybody from harming you if they want to harm you, right? That's just well known. Nothing can stop anyone from harming you, not even a locked door. It's proven fact that we lock our doors because it's our own safe security, and it's just one little extra layer, you know? Like anybody can just kick your door in. It's not hard to do at all. Like kick it through that little bitty piece of wood that's holding your door together. But like, if anybody's gonna do that, they're gonna do it. But at least have a camera system up, man, and where you can try to catch them son of a bitches.
Sophisticated situation. So you start looking then for, if they're willing to do that, then they're going to use secondary Wi-Fi
or bust the windows out in my house
areas. And so you want to start, kicking down the doors into the local Wi-Fi hotspots. And that just, again, goes more towards this, okay, were these people hired? Did they think of this themselves? Is there another reason behind this? Is the motivation money? Which I would submit to you, the motivation is money in this particular case. And I think chasing other stuff is a waste of time. And once you start thinking through that lane and you start seeing through the eyes again of the perpetrator coming into this thing, for all we know, somebody was hired and said, hey, I'll give you, $500. Here's the house. Here's the layout. Here's this. You go do your thing. Okay. And you're going to drive. Yeah. Okay. Here's your $500. And, oh, she died. No problem. You're going to now move the body. Here's another $300. Okay. And, they're off into the wilderness somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay. That happens all the time. In fact, I had a case in
It very well could have been that, man. It very well could have been just that. Think about it. How much does it cost to get somebody that's down on their luck to do something crazy to somebody? When I lived in the hood, boy, and we were back in the hood days when you could get a dope fiend to go fucking smack somebody in the face for you for fucking $10. It wouldn't be nothing. Be like, hey, go smack that motherfucker in the face. $10. Go smack him right across the face. No, hit him hard now. He'd be like, okay. Run right up and just smack this motherfucker. We'd be like, oh shit. Be all kind of drama started. 500, yeah. My city too. My city's mourning the death of their local street legend, hip hop artist. A rapper by the name Lil E. Just Lil E. Passed away after getting shot. He was shot about 2 months ago. And then he lived through that. About 2.5 months ago. And they caught him on Juneteenth, the night of Juneteenth. And they shot him up again. They killed him. So my city's like in mourning, bro. For all like the hip hop cultured people. They're in mourning because he was a hell of a motherfucking hip hop artist in our city. He was the man. The producer for him was signed to Lil Boosie. So if y'all know what I'm talking about, y'all know.
95.
They just killed him too recently, about a week before Lil E. They killed him.
Her name was Rebecca Jensen, and she had gone to the store. She left a pot of potatoes on the stove with her 3 children in the house, and she went to the store and she disappeared. And about 3 months later, I found her buried behind a transient camp, and the story basically was that she was in line at a store and there was these people in front of her, and she paid for their groceries. And they thought she had a lot of money. So as she was walking out, they waited for her. And as she walked out, they turned and said, "Hey, thank you for paying for our groceries. Can you give us a ride?" And lo and behold, she gave them a ride, and they took her into the brush and they tried to rob her. And as she was running away, they chased her down and they murdered her.
How did
And
they
then
kill
they
her?
buried.
I mean, I know I'm off topic
They
here, but I'm
stabbed her.
so curious.
They
As she was
stabbed her.
running away?
Yeah, they tackled her. And then they got a third person to come help dig the hole and bury her. And her name was Rebecca Ann Jensen, and I'm still very close to.
Look, dude, these things happen all the time, man. Like these tragic, like murders and shit. It happens.
Her daughter, Cody, who's now a mom. At the time, she was 12 years old, but she's now a mom with 3 kids. And hi, Cody. If you watch Ashley Banfield,
You know what?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean
Chris,
to
I'll
go
tell you
off
something. This is not an unusual story, and it is tragic. I mean, I think about Ed Smart reaching out to a transient to say, "I'll give you some work, some handyman work in my house." And he came and stole
Yep.
Elizabeth in the middle of the night
Yep.
because
Yep.
this family had shown
Yep.
love
So,
and then
dude,
access, you know, and it really is sad because you want to help people, you want to lend a hand, but it is so scary that you open yourself up to people
Oh, yeah,
who clearly are not of this flock.
Yeah.
people are nuts.
The human spirit is capable of some really crazy.
That rap is like the most dangerous. Rap is like the most dangerous job you could get in 2026.
Stuff sometimes.
You know,
You're right
you
about
tell
that,
me
man.
that story about Rebecca.
You're
I think about
definitely
Nancy
right about
Guthrie that way because she strikes me as the kind of person who would be kind like that.
Ransom for kidnap. Yeah, it is some movie shit. Like, when's the last time you seen somebody high priced like that? That is Savannah Guthrie's mother. She wasn't so much in the news like Savannah was, but Savannah was like the news, like Today Show news. And like, when's the last time we've seen something like that? I'm trying to think, man. I don't remember any ransoms, dude. I think I remember a ransom for a little boy when I was younger, somewhat a little bit, but like I don't recall any lately. Like none for like the millions of dollars. Like what the fuck? Oh, there would be a movie about this for sure. Somebody would make a movie about it. I wonder how they portray it. Because I think they should, in the movie, they should show how fucking half-assed the police department did on this. That's definitely something they should highlight.
She strikes me as somebody who would, without question, she'd help somebody. And then she'd be vulnerable because they would know either who she was or where she lived or that she was vulnerable and couldn't walk easily or was an easy target.
84.
The whole ransom piece, it could be bullshit. Do you know what I mean? Like we tend to hang a lot on the ransom, and the FBI, if you believe some of the reports, have gone back to this as the, as the default because they've got nothing else. But the truth of the matter is, again, it could be Occam's razor where somebody did something terrible and then somebody else has come in and done something terrible to get money off a bad situation.
Yeah, and I said 5 months ago, within a couple of days, I did a whole program on it. The notes could just be noise.
Yeah.
Okay? And let's not focus on the noise.
That's true, man. Whoever did this, they probably feel like by each note they send in, they're getting further away. You know, that could be their tactic too. That's the way I would feel. Like, let me play with the law enforcement, act like we're still around. We really ain't. Make a movie in their backyard. Oh no, JLR will do it.
Let's focus on what the reality of the circumstance is, and that's why we have to stay, not only in a simplistic concept, but we have to look for those idiotic inconsistencies. Okay? And the most important piece of this entire puzzle, is within the first 24 hours of what was said and who said it and does it line up. Okay, that is the most important piece of this whole puzzle. And when you run out of leads, and folks, we work with many agencies around the United States in the Cold Case Foundation.
Yeah, I mean, they could be just throwing that out there just to play. Like, look how long it's been since they have sent a letter. So they probably feel like they're long gone, right? Like that's what I don't get, because they could be long gone. Why are they now sending a letter again? You understand? You know what I mean? Like, it's so weird. It's so weird, man.
Get phone calls all day saying, hey, I got a 15-year-old case here. We don't know what to do. And our organization, we have over 200 experts that we have, like, we call it the Mayo approach, where we put them all up on a Zoom, whatever that agency needs. You need a forensics guy, do you need this? Do you need that? We can put them all in front of these agents and these officers and deputies and say, look, have you thought about this?
I don't rule anything out, I rule out it being Savannah, because I don't think it's Savannah. Something about this just does not strike me as Savannah. And it could be that way, it just might be that it could be her, and that's how she's getting away with it. But I just don't think it's Savannah. I don't.
This and this, okay? And when they do that, they go, okay, and they're thinking outside of the box now. And that's where you get ideas like, okay, has anybody gone down to Annie's shop and poked around? What's happening down there? Okay. And here's a disturbing piece, though. I will tell you, actually, that I found out. Okay. I called, I reached out to Tucson Police Department, and I asked them, I said, has Pima County Sheriff Department hit up your street teams? They're called Bravo teams down there.
Yeah.
Guess what they said?
I'll bet it's no.
Correct.
See, man, like, if they do make a movie, let's highlight how fucking half-ass this Pima County Sheriff's Department has handled this. Hi, Mindy. Like, can we highlight that in the movie? Like, this county sheriff sucks. Like, they fucking suck. And Nanos needs, like, fired, bro. I don't think they can fire him because they elected him. But, like, get his ass the fuck up out of there, dude. He has ruined all credibility with me.
They said no. No, they haven't talked to him.
And I am so angry to hear that, Chris, because I think, gosh, I'm thinking back, what are we, 144 days? I think on day 5 or 10, on this podcast and others, we were talking about how, because there's no honor among thieves, you have to go out and start hitting up all.
Tommaso is the dude. Tommaso is the man that's married to her sister.
Of your street folk, the folks that need a better deal, the ones that are easy informants, the ones that know stuff, the ones that hear stuff, the ones that are in the seedy bars. That is how crime is often solved. How could that not be a huge part of this case already?
Well, that is a great question. And remember, Nancy's no longer in that house. She's in another spot somewhere, and she could have been in another house somewhere. Well, guess what? That neighborhood where that house is could have cameras. That neighborhood could have, vehicles coming in.
There has got to be so many cameras where a car was spotted, right? That's just what my thought process was from the very beginning. Yeah, Tommaso was the last one to see her alive, and that makes a lot of fucking sense. Like, I would love for them to find this woman, guys. I mean, they need her back. Like, I know when my mom died, they took her away out of the house, right? The crematorium people, the people that were going to be taking care of my mother, come and got her. It was like 11 o'clock at night. And she was gone. Like, she was dead. But I knew that I was going to be getting her back, right? Like as form as ashes. So that time she was gone from the house up until like the time they said, hey, you can come get your mother. Dude, I missed her. I couldn't wait to go get her. Like I wanted her. That was getting my mother back, you know. It fucks me up inside right now. It's just like, and when that day came, boom, we was on it. I ran right up there to get my mama. And I've been happy ever since. It's like it's made it easier. I don't know what to say. It's made it easier. Because I felt like I was able to bring her back home, you know? And I feel like her soul is wherever I take her with me. I really, truly feel that way.
In and out of it through license plate readers. Just because you may not have it over here, you've got to think, okay, is there a second, third, fourth location that she could have been transported to?
Absolutely.
And then you can start, pushing that way. Now, a lot of, officers today, I don't think it's the folks on the ground. I'm being honest with you. I think it's an administratively driven, situation right now. And it's sad. I was hoping.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're feeling. I agree. That's what I was getting at. That's at least, what I was feeling. So, like, even if you plan to bury your mother, you still want to bury her. You still want to know where she is. You still want to have her plot, her plot. I can only imagine, man. It sucks. I couldn't wait, man. I could not wait. It was like 4 extra days than what they told me. So I was like, come on, man. Come on. Finally, they called me and said, hey, man, you can pick her up on Wednesday or whatever day it was. I don't remember what day it was, but I shot straight down there. First thing that morning. Right there. Went and got my mama, Jack. And I feel like her soul's with me. And it's going to happen no matter where I take her with me. Whether I move from here or I move from her house to this house, that house, this house. She's coming with me, y'all. I feel like they need to look into the Charlie Kirk. Definitely the Charlie Kirk. Yeah, most definitely, dude. I got water in my ear, man. Definitely Charlie Kirk. I don't know about the Hogan much, but Charlie Kirk for sure. That's like blatant.
Behind the scenes, they had squashed and, were working, in conjunction in totality. But my sources are telling me, look, everybody's playing nice, but there's still this underlying current. It looks smooth on the top, but there's this current underneath between the politicians. So
I keep going back to.
You hear that, man? Current between politicians. So they're making this a political standpoint, y'all. Fuck these bastards. I said that from the jump. That Sheriff Nanos reminds me of a son of a bitch that's a politician. He don't remind me of no damn sheriff. He acts like a fucking senator. I don't care for senators.
Those first few days where I had an impeccable source inside the Pima County Sheriff's Department saying that they had their mind made up. It was the brother-in-law, that they had him as a prime suspect. And Sheriff Chris Nanos even said on those first few days, there's no reason to be concerned in the community.
Yeah.
There's no reason to fear. We're shutting down the search.
Yeah.
We're shutting down.
Because they had a letter saying that she was dead. Yeah. And here I am thinking for weeks after that, she could still be alive.
That we're opening up the scene, and it just feels like moronic, to have said so early on, There's no reason to be worried out there. It's the same thing that the folks in Idaho said. There's no reason for concern out there in the community. Nothing to fear. Well, Brian Koberger was out there for months, and this guy's still out there now for 144 days.
Yeah.
So why on earth?
Think about that, guys. These people are still roaming our earth. These sick son of bitches who did this with Nancy are still walking among us. They could bump into you tomorrow in public. They could just walk right by you and just bump right into you and just look at you, and you wouldn't even know. It's kind of wild, man. It's scary. It's kind of sad, man. We got to walk amongst these people.
We have been told so early on, no reason to be worried out there.
Yeah, I mean, and why on earth did the sheriff come out and say, nothing to see here, move along?
Yeah.
Okay? You know who we haven't heard it from?
The FBI.
The FBI.
That's right.
And my sources that I talked to, they almost fell off the chairs. Okay? My people.
Sassy.
Yeah.
And, I've been in this business since 1982. So I know a couple of people. And everybody almost fell off the chair when he came out and said, everybody's, nothing to see here, move along.
Yeah.
Okay? Because you don't know that. Nobody knows that. When I'm not saying anybody's involved, I'm just saying from an investigation side, okay, you don't project that to the suspect, the real suspect, okay? Because what they're watching, okay, and if you think about this for just a second in terms of that concept that you just brought up, okay, we now know that second note says your mom's, or even the first note, your mom's gone. She's dead. Right?
Well, the first note said you've got, this many days until it's 4 million. You've got this many days till it's 6 million, or we'll kill her. The second note says we're sorry, we underestimated her health and accidentally she died. We're sorry.
Okay,
so she's dead. They knew she was dead, man. They knew she was gone. The police 100% knew she was gone on the second note. We didn't know. We as the people out here wondering. I thought she still could have been alive.
So at least by the second note, the family knows their mother is deceased. Okay.
So now that at that time, if they believe that these are real people.
Right. Okay.
So Ryan.
So now you have to ask yourself, what's the purpose of the card coming down the driveway and putting it at the curb? Because guess what the suspect's doing? The suspect did what every one of us did, was watch the news.
Yep.
And saw that display of hope coming down the driveway.
Yep.
You mean that when Savannah and her siblings came down and placed the card at the base of the driveway at the memorial, the makeshift memorial?
Right.
There's Savannah, Tommaso, and Annie.
The suspect, again, look through the eyes.
They have a right to mourn, you guys. That's their home. That's where they grew up. That's where they had the rooms to themselves, Annie had her room. Savannah had her room. They grew up there.
To the perpetrator. Okay. That person saw that, if that note was legit, the second note. Okay. And this guy is probably thinking, maybe I didn't do a good enough job in letting them know that their mother's not alive. Okay. So that, again, that behavior could change a dynamic very quickly in an investigation to where they're going to do second and third behaviors, what we call post-incident behaviors. Okay. Because they watch the TV, they watch the news, they follow the news. They're going to follow. This person is going to watch your podcast. I guarantee it. Okay. And everything we're talking about, they're going to measure it and they're going to take it in and they're going to learn from it. Okay. Because remember, now they're on the run. Okay. They're still on the run. They've had they've had a 5-month lead time. Okay?
Yeah.
But
Who gets caught 5 months later? Lots of people. Why am I asking that? Dumbass question, AD. Scratch that ant question. Lots of people get caught 5 months later.
the authorities they're also on the run. Okay. And at some point there's going to be a collision. Okay. And at some point, if everything falls into place, they'll capture this individual. But you can bet that suspect watching the family come down in unity and put the card down there had to be thinking, hey, wait a minute, didn't they read the note that I sent them? What is going on here in this dynamic? Or is that a play from the FBI to put the card there and hope the suspect comes running out and grabs the card? Okay.
Well,
and they got some other stuff set up.
I'm still really, I'm
They think
not
he's still that
convinced
close?
about these notes. I know Savannah had said that
They think he's still that close, man.
she tends to believe that the first notes were real, only because if you're that wretched that you would go into a home and steal a grandmother out of her bed,
I agree.
you
I
are
agree.
as wretched to ask for money for just the body. And they didn't. They just said sorry and moved along, which I tend to think is garbage because they didn't have the goods and they didn't carry through with the effort to get the money. And I also think they're maybe not smart enough to know about the forensics that are involved in returning a body and how dangerous it is to return a body that would probably be rife with forensic clues as to who took that person.
Well, exactly. I mean, and why would you want to do that? Number one, if you're willing to take her out of the house like you're talking about, why are you going to tell them, hey, this is where the body is? Okay, that to your point, exactly. Because now they've just raised their risk levels so high. It's like the gun. Okay, why were the feds going to a gun store to say, hey, do you recognize any of these people? As if this suspect's going to go to a legal gun store, okay, and buy a legal gun.
Yeah, right.
And say, oh, by the way, here's the paper trail to me.
Just has to get up here and get right in the middle of what I'm doing. Every single stream, y'all. Every stream. He loves you guys, I think. I think he loves y'all.
Okay, come get me. And if that gun had been used, now it's a paper trail to, a death penalty case, right? Homicide during the commission of a felony. Okay? And so it's almost like, wait a minute, what the heck is going on?
I think I don't know. To be honest with you, Rawlings, I don't know, to be honest, and I want to speculate a little. So I think there's a big chance that she could be across the border. But it's a big chance to get a body across the border, isn't it? Wouldn't it be more risky? I don't know. See, I used to be a criminal, and me thinking like a criminal, I wouldn't want to risk going across the border with somebody I kidnapped, whether they did it while she was alive or not, you know. I said that early on, Joker, but I don't think so. I don't think so. Too old, man. Too old. Yeah, he runs this place, don't he? Way too old, man. This is, however, this is very ongoing again. It has sprung up into the news once again, and it's very ongoing. It makes me believe that they're going to find her body soon. It makes me believe that since it's come back up in the news so heavy, that they're probably close to finding her body. I mean, you could get her across the border if you could get her to shut up. You know what I mean? And with a gun, you can make people do a lot of things. You know, hey, I'm shoot you if you say anything crazy, or they could throw her in the trunk and just hope they don't get checked. It is kind of wild, Regina. Like I've been following this from the get go, so like I want to stay following it when it has new news. But I'm not like JLR. I'm not going to do it every day, all day, and get myself part of it, and like I don't know, come up with all kind of crazy conspiracy theories and shit. We could do that. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind doing that, but I'm not going to do it. Too many theories. That's the point. That's the point. Because it could be a lot of different things. It very well could be a lot of different things. I mean, think about who kidnaps people. Who kidnaps people? Cartel does that shit. Really evil people, or somebody that knows they can kidnap you. Somebody that knows Annie's weak, you know? That's how I feel. So if it was like Tommaso, he could be sending notes to this place, you know? Sending ransom notes and shit. I would love to know if they can solve this. That'd be a big solve, wouldn't it? They can go across the border without going through border check. That's very true. That's very, very true. I wasn't thinking outside the box there, was I, Lee? One of the great mysteries. There's so many of them too, with these kidnappings, with a lot of children, with women. Hell, you see it with men, you know. Sex trafficking. Unfortunately, it's happening more and more and more. So hopefully, I want to tell y'all to always be aware. You know, you can't stop bad people from doing bad things. Like that's just how the world revolves. But like, just be aware. Try to keep your step above, one step in front of people. You know, I hope you guys have a good night, man. The only thing I can say at this point, let's pray they find Nancy's body. Right? Let's pray they find Nancy's body. And let's pray they find these son of a bitches. Whoever had something to do with this, catch them. Catch them. Put them in fucking prison. Give them the death penalty. Have a beautiful evening, y'all. Thank you, man. Y'all guys are always fun. Y'all always give me a blast. Thank you so much, legends. I'll see you again tomorrow night. Uh-oh.